Objection. The Democratic leader.
As we enter the second day of the debate on immigration, everyone should be focused on finding a bill to protect the dreamers and address border security that can get 60 votes. That's the ballgame. The majority leader's desire to vote on unrelated partisan immigration bill, legislation that's not only silent on dreamers, but also silent on border security as well, that's not a productive way to begin the debate. Let's get to the crux of the issue. Let Republicans offer whatever they want on DACA and border security, and we'll do the same. The leader supports the proposal by Senator Grassley that's essentially the president's plan. Let's vote on that first. We will have several bipartisan bills to offer. We should vote on those too. Now, Democrats are focused like a laser on finding a partisan bill that can pass the Senate to protect the dreamers. A bipartisan bill. Democrats are focused a laser on finding a bipartisan bill that can pass the Senate to protect the dreamers. Several moderate Republicans are working towards that as well. The only person who seems most intent on, or the one person who seems most intent on not getting a deal is President Trump. President Trump's contribution to this debate has been to put forward a proposal that contains a vast curtailment of legal immigration, far outside the scope of DACA for border security, and demanding that the Democrats support it. Instead of making a proposal in good faith or working with Democrats on a compromise, President Trump is trying to force his unpopular, hardline immigration agenda down the throats of the American people by calling it a DACA bill. The president's proposal, now the Grassley bill, is so extreme on legal immigration that several Republicans have been critical of it, including my friends from South Carolina and Arizona. And yet, President Trump thinks that Democrats would be to blame for not getting a deal on DACA because we didn't go blindly along with his partisan plan. Extreme as it is, with no input from Democrats. That will not happen. Only in a Kafkaesque 1984 world could the Democrats be blamed for the current predicament on DACA. As much as the president wants to turn the world upside down, as much as he wants everyone to just accept what he is saying, the American people know better. Everyone here knows that President Trump has stood in the way of a bipartisan solution to DACA from the very beginning. Let's take a quick look at the history. First, it was President Trump who terminated the DACA program last August, not Democrats or not Republicans here. Unilaterally, we are in this pickle, in this worse than pickle, in this bad situation, because President Trump chose to end the DACA program last August. That stands out above anything else. Then, President Trump turned his back not on one, but two bipartisan immigration proposals. I went so far to put the wall, the president's signature campaign issue, on the table for discussion. That still did not drive him to a deal. And finally, now that we're working hard in the Senate to come up with a bipartisan proposal, President Trump is just trying to gum up the works. According to reports, President Trump may threaten to veto legislation that doesn't match his hardline demands. My way or no way, with no Democratic input. A statement this morning from the White House said the president would oppose even a short-term bill to protect the dreamers. So who is intent on kicking these people who know no country but America, who work in our factories and offices, who go to our schools, who serve in our military? Who is intent on kicking them out? Not the American people. 90% want to support the dreamers. Not any Democrat, and not a good number of Republicans on that side of the aisle. Just the president. So on 3 separate occasions, President Trump has stood in the way of a bipartisan solution to DACA, a problem he created in the first place. And yet, the president is in this dream world. He thinks, oh, I can blame Democrats for the impasse. As I said, only in the 1984 world, where up is down and black is white, could this be true. Only in a 1984 world where up is down and black is white would the American public blame Democrats for this. They know where Trump stands. They know it. The American people know what's going on. They know that this president not only created the problem, but seems to be against every solution that might pass because it isn't 100% of what he wants. If at the end of this week we are unable to find a bill that can pass, I sincerely hope that's not the case due to the good efforts of so many people on both sides of the aisle, the responsibility will fall on the president's shoulders and those in this body who went along with him. Bipartisan negotiations are ongoing, perhaps very close to a conclusion. Nothing is ever certain given the contentious nature of this debate, but I am hopeful that senators can put the president's hardline demands to the side and come up with a deal that works for both parties. If we want to go beyond border security and the DACA kids, let's do comprehensive reform. We did it once. It worked pretty well. In the Senate, the House blocked it. But let's go back to it. But first, the issue at hand, the DACA kids and border security. That's the only thing that can pass this chamber. The only thing. We need to push through to the finish line. There are only 2 days of debate remaining this week. Everyone has to make a final effort to reach consensus. That doesn't mean adding new demands or drawing lines in the sand. It means being willing to compromise and take yes for an answer. It won't be, if we pass something, everything that either Democrats want or everything that Republicans want. But it may get the job done for the Dreamers and the overwhelming majority of Americans who'd like to see them stay in the country. On another matter, taxes.